Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is Dr. Rao. I was pondering on this, when science and also ancient wisdom telling us that we are all in one energy. How come we don't feel it, or how come many don't express that they feel we are all in one energy? That was the question I was pondering about. Then some some conclusions have come about because it is apparent right in front of us, right? So I thought I would come and share with my friends here, whoever is interested in that, or if you are like a, you know, what we call Pidioism, that means fundamentally we are uh, estranged in some belief or system or some way of looking at things, and then we are not open to anything else, right? Then what are you going to do? You are not going to do anything about it, right? But not feeling that oneness is causing a lot of problems for us. We feel we are separated, we are individuals, and we have different country origins and different identifications, and then dividing those, eventually it leads to conflict, right? Like people with the different religions kill each other because based on their belief, right? But we are basically one human tribe, and that is what the both the quantum physics now and also the ancient said that. Okay, uh, quantum physics says there is only one energy, and we are all beings of energy, right? That's pretty evident, and I can see that very easily, right? When I look at that, that's very easily. When I see a patient, if I don't care about any identification, like a where they came from, what kind of socioeconomic status they have, what kind of country origin they have, what kind of color of the skin they have, what kind of education, and so many other qualities that individual people have. But essentially, he is a patient to me. He is a human being. Something has gone wrong, and that's why his body is telling him, and he is feeling it. Something is out of whack, and I'm not comfortable, and they come for the medical aid, right? In that they're all one. So when I have that kind of equanimity, very easy for me to see that we are all in one energy. No big deal. And also, um, this was described way back, maybe thousands of years ago. The term that I came to familiar with is called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the entire world, the entire living beings, the entire living creatures, and all that, including the human beings and animals and plants and all that, they are in one family. Okay, the world is one global village, we call it now. So it's not a big deal to really understand that oneness. But why modern physics is telling us, ancient wisdom is telling us, then why we don't feel it? That's the question. See, this at the quantum physics core, what it is there's understanding that all matter and energy are interconnected, right? And so the principle of oneness echoes there, as everything in the universe is composed of the same fundamental energy, continuously interacting in a vast cosmic dance, right? Vibration. Yet, despite these deep truths, many find it challenging to really resonate with the idea of oneness in daily life, right? One possible reason I think is that in modern life, it reinforces separateness through individualism and competition and attachment to material success. This can really obscure our inherent connection, and people really become consumed by the of identification with our body, our ego, and also external circumstances. My circumstance is different than yours, that kind of thing, right? Um, Forcing the deeper truth that the same life force animates all beings, that separates that. This identification to the external things. Even the ancient said, Vasudeva Kutumba means it dissolves this illusion of separateness that they call Maya and remind us that all living beings, all creatures, they share a common source, not just physically, but spiritually, right? So you have to, if you want to bring this understanding into regular practice, involves you have to transcend the ego. That means you have to understand the ego and not give it the importance that we give, and then also awaken to the commonness and all. Okay, we call the divinity because that is the one which animating the body and mind, but you can call this just a commonality among all, right? See, if you have that realization, there is more common in us than the separateness. Now the interconnected becomes not just a concept, but an experience of truth. You got to experience the truth. Nobody can force you that. Then a profound sense of unity and love for all life happens. So this is the vision I have. It really aligns with that of holistic wellness, okay, where the physical, mental, and spiritual, they're harmonized. And so once you recognize this live oneness, then this wholeness happens too. Um, you see, the key is to find out uh, ways to awaken this in our daily life, this awareness of oneness in our daily life, through presence or compassion, and by reminding ourselves that the energy and divinity that binds us all. Okay, most of the people do not pay attention to that. So that's what I wanted to present to you today, and this may be a esoteric subject for some people, but then I will tell you how this has become practical for me. Is there was a Purusharthas in ancient literature. What it is they have this core purpose and fulfillment can be achieved in human life with four things. Okay, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So dharma is right way of doing things and also doing for everybody's good. Okay, common goodness. And so artha means you can accumulate material wealth or material knowledge or degrees or social status, whatever. All those are uh, considered as accumulations from outside. And then people do that. That's fine. And then karma, that's like a enjoying our life and fulfilling some innocent pleasures like that. That's the second way, just living life, enjoying and experiencing. But both of these things, the accumulation of wealth or enjoying ourselves, should be done in the right way. That is the dharma, right? And these three paths. So whatever you do in the right way, you can accumulate wealth and all. The thing with this is this accumulation of wealth and outside things, and also the desires and all that, they are not really forever fulfilling at the end of it. Okay, that is what they talked about. And the last one is called moksha, which is ultimate liberation. Freedom from the limitations of me and mine, which are the ego constructs. If you can be like that, then you see, realize of yourself not merely an individual entity, but as an eternal, boundless consciousness. That's what they valued the highest, and that's why most people come to that state too, because I know people who made a lot of money, who lived their life, and then they experience this void, this something. The more they do that, like a film stars or like a big money people and all that, even people in the ordinary life, they resort to something like alcoholism or drugs and all that, because they don't have the fulfillment just by making a living and just by living it out, right? So then they want to find out, is there a permanent forever fulfillment or not? And that ancient said you got to go beyond your egoic structures. So all the first three, they can enhance our journey in the world. But moksha, it offers a lasting fulfillment that every soul seeks as it liberates from the cycle of this life, right? So you kind of transcend dualities, and then you experience that forever peace and joy and bliss within yourself. I caught hold of that kind of thinking, that kind of understanding, and that was a philosophy of transcending my ego. you know that means I don't identify with that, what my degrees are, what my achievements are, what my knowledge, all those things are egoic construct. I don't identify with that, and just uh, understood, and it well off. Okay, it may be there as a shadow, as a slave, the ego directing me for external things and all that, but it is not the biggest force to the extent I'm separating myself from other people. So you realize that we are all one. You don't have to measure to be that, but you can realize that and then be that. Then you don't have the problems of the ego coming onto you, right? So it's kind of a culmination of the inner evolution, and the point where individual consciousness merges with the universal consciousness. And that is essentially what they called yoga, union of individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. Okay, this may be not interesting for many people, which is okay, but this is like a wisdom that the ancient gave us, which is very inspiring to me. Okay, but what is it is it is validated by modern scientific experimenters to some extent. Uh, See, most of the people identify with their personal ego, which is really a shadow of ours, and this is the one which separates us from the real wholeness which we are. Once you identify with the shadow, then we lose sight of that oneness and the interconnectedness that binds us all. But once you see the falseness of the ego and drops off, then you are in that oneness, you are interconnected to everything else. Okay, so uh, ancients called this wholeness purna, right? That means it is nothing is lacking and everything is complete. And we came from the completeness. Okay, all in what I'm saying is really understanding that we are all in already in one energy, and realizing the truth you have to dissolve your thought construct things like ego, identification, things, attachments, and all that. Okay? Then you're naturally peaceful and joyful and blissful. You don't have to achieve anything. You can just be happy with what you are really doing right now. You know, so what is needed is in modern life, I think, the shift in consciousness from being me and mine to we and us. That kind of thing is there. Then independent goals for accumulation of whatever you want, and all those things will follow. Okay, so that's what I was writing it down, and probably I'll develop into a good article, and we'll see where it goes. So anybody wants to say anything, you can come up and I'll be happy to talk to you about it. Or you can tell me, what do you think about this? Is this crazy, or is there something makes really sense for you? Okay. So that kind of feeling is very good though. But then when we are separating from that, then the countries are against each country, people are against each one, husband and wife against each one, and it's all to protect that egoic construct, egoic thing. People may do meditation just to be peaceful in their mind, just to sleep better, just to have you know, their health better as a whole, and really develop their capacities to focus and achieve a lot of things. But all that is falling towards what you want in the materials is your viewpoint, right? That is not a crime or anything, but you will not realize that forever fulfillment within if you just focus on those external things. So the what is needed is, how can we have this shift of consciousness where inner realization, that is the purpose of the meditation originally. I'm see people do meditation just to gain better health, just to gain more capacities to realize the materialistic goals, and promoting that as a ultimate thing. And that's where the trivialization of meditation happen. That's where the trivialization of yoga practices happen. But the essential thing is keeping the body healthy like a temple for the divinity within, and realizing that divinity, and then having this forever fulfillment. That's the goal. Just by realizing the wholeness, the vastness that is you are, then all this individual separativeness, everything will fall down. But people are so attached to gaining materialistic success, they want to gather together for that, support each other, and promote even the spirituality that is of deep significance for people. I'm not talking about religions. I'm not talking about religious God and all that. I'm talking about real inner energy that we all have, the life force. Remember the Star Wars? Look, force will be with you. That's force I'm talking about. So people will identify with their own petty little gods and all that. That's up to them. But what I'm talking about is the inner spirit of compassion, kindness, and friendship, love, and all that. That energy, because you are taken away from that by your own ego, or ego construct things like you are special, you are individual, you are all that separateness, right? So uh, the shift in consciousness about this understanding, this reality, really, even science is proving it now, that we are all in one energy. Leave alone all the spiritual stuff. How come we don't feel one with everybody? How come we always lay back on our egoic identification and then judge other people and then promote other people because of that? So each group is promoting themselves, separating from the whole, then the divisions happen and people are not together. And that's where the wars are happening. Take it from family to country to between the countries, all over wars happening, right? So it contributes to breakup of the families. It contributes to breakup of the states and all that, parties and all that. It breaks up all the countries because some people want only certain group with them so that they can fight with the other group. This is going on perennial. It is never stopped. Even if you don't involve in all that, if you want your personal peace and quiet, you need to get back from the egoic consciousness to oneness consciousness. That's the purpose of why I'm presenting it here. Um, I live in that full consciousness, that oneness with everybody and all. So it's a fact. It's not like a something I invented or something. It's the energy that once we are in that wholeness, that's a purnam, they call it ancient, and you have everything. You don't have to go for anything outside. Once you understand that, if anything comes, you are not attached to it. You just let it go in life. You enjoy and then forget it, or you don't enjoy, forget it. But you are not attached. Like you are in a boat, you are going on a river. You go peace through the life, but not really. Sorry, I had a phone call. Not really drown, because if you allow the life to come into you, if you allow the water to come into your boat, you go down. So if you allow the egotistical attitudes come to you, and then really you're drowning in the life and you are not able to really enjoy the liberation of this unified energy. So everybody's silent, and anybody has any comment or anything you want to tell me, you can come up and be happy to engage. There is a lot of health benefits with this, though. That's the first article or first talk I did on the wisdom, because this is not something new for me. Uh, the one who realized that inner sense of ours completely, and okay, something happened to this. Okay, I think that phone call is interfering me now. I hope. See, as I was saying, this realization of our true essence of one energy, very invigorating, but also it does have a silent effect on the mind activity, in the sense mind won't chatter and go all over, no fears, no anxieties and all that. That's why you will not have this stress hormones. In that way, you are always equanimous, and you always uh, non-reactive. You respond to your duties, but not reacting emotionally, because you don't have anything like a ego saying, I'm going to lose this, I'm going to not have this, I'm attached to this, I don't want to sacrifice. All those anxieties, fears, doubts are not there. And actually, you are in the energy of what they call Sat Chit Anand. What it is your existence is consciousness itself, and that consciousness is blissful. So it is the your existence of that energy is itself conscious, awake, aware, and also it is blissful. Sat Chit Anand. Okay. Once you have that state, not your perennial talking mind, or identifying with a little part of you and then saying that I'm kind of superior than other people, and really cut yourself off completely. The interconnectedness is already there. Okay, so that's the real richness, I think. The inner richness that happens, and I stay true to it, and I feel like I was blessed to identify with that. There's no need to rub it on anybody. but people can really build up their own energies better when you identify with that universal energy, right? Some of the ways people separate themselves is uh, whatever the external, hi Peter, whatever external things were there, they identify with that and then stop exploring inwardly. Our life, our activities, everything is more towards, use the intellect and go out and make formulas, and then use the senses and go out and then just spend the senses like that. You need to understand the mind and transcend it. Use it, but not for the limited purposes, not for the separativeness, right? Senses, use it not for just lost in that sensory enjoyment or sensory fulfillment, but rather see the limitation of that and then go beyond that. Don't waste the energy. Leave the senses alone for a while. Many people cannot do that. Okay. And then you will have a sharp, focused mind, sharp purpose in life, and really fulfilling, forever fulfilling. You feel like you have the uh, tremendous amount of wealth within you, so you don't have to ask for anything. I think that's a very blessed way to be. I think you can do somehow, you can produce results, the latter thing, but you don't identify with them. You don't think I'm great because I have done something like a good surgery or good patient treatment. No, you are helping the patient to reduce the suffering. And because you got the chance, you are grateful. And then because you are able to do it, you are grateful. And thereby, you are not bound by the, you know, results of money making or praise and all those things you don't need. You just do it because you're already happy, and then you are going to go and share it. And if they take it, fine. If they don't take it, that's fine too. But if they take it and then they shower a lot of praise on you, you take it as also with a uh, nimitta matra, they said in Sanskrit. That means I'm like a medium between the divine and you, and then what the divine is making me do, I'm doing it. So this is like a what's called prasada bhutti. That means offering is given to the God, and the God blesses it and gives it back to you, and you take it with gratitude. You know, not allowing saying, I am the one who is doing it. I am the one who can make a difference. I am the one, the great person. That is not it. That shift in consciousness actually lightens the load on the mind so that you can work better, but at the same time, you are not allowing the water come into your boat. I think that example probably makes sense to a lot of people. Work in life, but be detached about the results. Work in life and don't allow it to grow your ego because that is your shadow. Let that immerse into your real self and be grateful that you are working for the divine. Okay. So that's my viewpoint. It doesn't mean that you all have to agree with it, but I'm happy just to be silent, just to be joyful and enjoyable and all. What do you think, Peter? I would like to listen to your point of view because Peter and me, we have very good discussions lately. So I love to talk to him. Thanks for coming up, Peter. Uh-oh. I think you got to try again. I got that. Uh-oh. Everything is fine on this end. Probably. Yeah, now he's coming in. Hi, Peter.
Hey, Dr. Rao, namaste.
Namaste. Thanks for coming up. Okay.
My pleasure. You know, I think what happens when I'm listening on my iPad and I go to join for some reason, and it only happens on my iPad, not on my phone.
Yeah.
That means it goes boop, so I have to come out of the app and come back.
Yeah, it happens
But
to me too, quite often.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm listening to you, and yeah, as you know, like I'm I believe I am on the path. But I've noticed recently, like when I've come out of that state, something shows up immediately in life. Yeah. To kind of test where I'm at, right? But it's at first I would get shaken by it, but now I enjoy it because it just reminds me to reset and go back in and respond as opposed to reacting. And I think that's very important. I love that you said that because I really need that reminder. Yeah. Throughout the day. It's like water is trying to come in and we are trying to put it out. Like in the boat, we are in the boat. Yeah, I did hear that part. Yeah, yeah. It's the truth. Yeah. And you can get so tied up in that you kind of let it all go wrong, right? Yeah, that's the way we were brought up, and that's the way we thought it was the truth. And then to discover and come out of it takes some time and energy and also persistent effort, because the influence of everything around is so enormous, it's kind of difficult. Yeah. I think about everything you're talking about, and I can't. Sorry, but think about how it relates to social media and a more personal portion of it is, after I had been in that accident at the end of my career and there was the divorce, like my world started crashing. So I started looking towards other things and I found it, or I thought I found it in prescription pain meds. And I just kept looking and looking until I came to the end of myself. And I tried all those pills that I could try. And I gave up and I gave in. And that's when I found, it's hard to talk about even today, but that's when I found what we talk about every day, Dr. Rao. And it's so important to me. And I often think about social media, and we talk about it a lot, right? And technology and how it's using us. And I really believe in my heart of hearts that there is a transformation happening. I think the folks at the social media collective or consciousness is going to come together and say, like, this is not it. This is not it. Because it's already getting to that point. It's already getting to that point with some of the AI that's out there, which is a fantastic tool if we use it and not allow us to be used by it. And but I think as a collective, we're getting to the point. Like, this is great. We'll just keep doing it, and it's nothing but. I shouldn't say nothing, but the most popular stuff on there isn't even real. Social media, Peter, like you are saying, I look at like a unifying force, right? We can talk here, and many people around the world can hear us without us going there, Yeah. In that way, our community, not necessarily they have to accept and follow what we said, but it's just the ability to reach so many people without really trying. That's a beautiful thing. The world is really coming together in that atmosphere. But then still this tendency about, doing some mischief is there. And the same thing will happen with the AI too. But this is going to be 100 times or 1,000 times more powerful than anything we have seen. Of course it is. Of course it is. So we got to be real careful who say trans. But I am following Open AI and what they were doing and how they want to, go into that complete general AI where it everything is dictated by it and the protocols. And already there's so much of protocol-driven thing is happening, and when that becomes really independent of producing some things. See, they were worried about a few things. One day, I think they discovered they programmed that only in English, but suddenly it went into Germany by itself, spontaneous, LLM, large language model, And that was really concerning for the scientists themselves. Okay. Yeah. And then the other thing they are worried about now is once it starts to feel and then take over the thinking better than humans already there, then the decisions that they make may not be in the interest of humans.
may not be, so it's not like a, that's why they want it to slow down and do that. You know what happened was, when the OpenAI really got funded by Microsoft and they went gung ho on the research, Google, which was really kind of exercising some caution, some slowness, and all that, they gave up that too, and they are also in competition with this.
Uh,
These
I'm
are,
sorry to hear that.
yeah, these are
Yeah,
things I
because
follow. I follow the AI specialists, AI scientists who are really working at that level, and
yeah,
they come and present the data. Especially OpenAI has done so much on that, but now they are taking a little bit backseat because other things are trying to catch up with them. And the
yeah,
other problem was when it was formed, OpenAI for non-profit. They said we
right,
are not going to do anything. We're going to exercise caution and all. And now they're turning more to the profit, and that's a
yeah,
deep concern too, because the more profits you have, the more invested into the AI, the more it will become independent.
yeah,
So we
yeah.
want to raise something that is going to swallow us.
Well, I hope not. I mean, it looks like, yeah, if left unchecked,
Yeah.
it will definitely do that. Daryl on the Deeper Planet had a few talks about this, but I participated. I jumped on for a few minutes on one of them, and I shared with him, like, I do have concerns and fears around this whole thing, and this thing getting away from us. But there's always, in all of human history, there's always been one constant.
Yeah, but this
And
is kind of more powerful, Peter. That's why not to be scared, but then really being involved, being aware of these capabilities, where it is going, and then do whatever we can do, not to misuse it, but use it for constructive purposes. That's a wonderful tool for me right now.
yeah,
The speed with
yeah,
which I make everything is extraordinary. There's no doubt
yeah,
about it, because I kind of spend a lot of money on so many apps which I don't even use. So I keep on
yeah,
experimenting and then canceling them, because a lot of them I don't even need them. But
yeah,
the evolution, the kind of things that they are doing, like for example, they are creating avatars, right? And then they're creating avatars of cinema stars and showing them in uncompromised positions where they are not really posed for that. That kind of thing is playing with the privacy and exploitation people that's happening. And you can create an avatar and you can present everything in your voice. Nobody can
yeah,
realize that it's not you.
yeah.
So,
So I think I don't think I know you're exactly right. So
yeah.
you're making a point that I spoke about the other night while I was a guest. Is that like this particular platform, this can't be duplicated. I don't care how good AI gets, because even if I have the greatest AI avatar, right? Say it's 10 years from now and it's at that level of technology,
Yeah.
it still cannot create
Yeah,
or
one to one,
replicate.
like we and me are talking, that they can't create. Yeah, that's true.
Right. No, but there will be AIs that are super intelligent and can actually hold a conversation. I mean, I
Yeah,
believe it's going to happen.
right now they
And
have Peter chatbots.
yeah,
Right now they
no,
have.
I'm talking about. So what I'm talking about specifically is the day's coming where you and I will have a conversation, or could have a conversation much like this, and say you're the AI. I'm not really speaking to the Dr. Rao, but I'm speaking to everything that he knows and the culmination of who he is with the voice inflection.
No, I can do
everything else.
it right now, that because I learned
Yeah.
it from a growth school in India, and they are pretty
Right.
good on this. And also, I mean, the AI for business. That's an institution here, and those
Right.
guys are pretty good, and they showed us how to create that. And then I don't have to come and talk like this. My chat bot will talk. I can create it right now if I want to. I learned
Yeah.
it. I learned it. So
Yeah.
somebody like me who don't have any computer science background or programming, if I can create that, anybody can create it. That's the
Right.
danger.
So does that go back to intention and use and how we use the tools, right?
Exactly.
And really that's the whole conversation. So what I think I'm saying is, on a more intimate human level, that source energy, that oneness that you talk about, that energy cannot be duplicated by AI. It could be, you can have something that looks like it, maybe sounds like it,
one of
but if you're
the
in tune,
one
you'll
of
know the difference.
one of the
It's
scientists
impossible.
I follow very much. He's very respected scientist, and he said that no matter how much this evolves, it can never be that conscious, okay,
Right.
which we are talking about. And
Yeah.
that energy it cannot mimic. It may manipulate, and then people who are not in that energy may fall for it, and then
Yeah.
people who are in that, you know, that shift in consciousness from individual
Yeah.
energy to, we are all in one energy, that kind of thing will never make something to hurt everybody. But the people who are in that individual consciousness, they are already have plans what they should do. Creates
Yeah.
robots, and that will replace everybody that they don't listen to them, and
Yeah.
create chatbots that can run your billion-dollar company just by yourself.
Right.
I,
And
I
that
was
could be
I saw
that
that.
could be a very that could be a very good thing,
Yeah.
and that can be a very bad thing, right?
Yeah, but they're telling me that we don't need so many people, but at the same time they tell me many people are going to get fired.
and and so they said that. So look at human history. Right? Look at the Industrial Revolution, right? And look at the advent of certain types of machinery and the huge distribution that came along, and the Amazons. Everything's always evolving. But there's always something for us to do. Like there will always be work for us to do. And I will say this: if there's ever time that there are not enough jobs, or like society will arrange itself, like it's done in history, to make sure that everyone has, generally speaking, enough. Like this is how this whole thing is set up, and it makes
a lot of people around the world don't even have a one meal a day, Peter. So only if you take the entire population, only 25% enjoy 90% of the resources. Okay, rest of the 75 are really struggling around the Asia, Africa, South America. Even some of the developed countries are coming to. Look at UK, for example, how struggling they are. Look at a lot of families in US. They have to do two jobs just to make ends meet. So I don't think the technology revolution has really improved a lot of. Bill Gates said that. He said that this is not going to solve the human problems. I kind of agree with that, because technology can make comforts for us, can make things faster, but then technology cannot bring this shift in consciousness that we have to do ourselves.
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will. Because right now, what's happening, if you just follow me for a second, what's happening is people are making technology their consciousness. People are making technology their higher power, their God source energy. And they're going to find at the end of that line in different stages that it is not in fact that. And it will be a matter of survival. And when I mean survival, I don't mean imminent threat to body or property, but I mean survival.
You know that OpenAI guy, he knows about Brahman, the universal consciousness concept in ancient India. He knows about it. And he wants to create something like that, universal intelligence. And then the API, what is his name? Very popular man, Sandy something. He's the one who runs everything with OpenAI. He was fired and he got back and all that. I'm not getting the name right now, but he is the one who knows. He mentioned in his tweet, very first in the beginning. So he is aware of this universal consciousness. He is aware of everybody has it, and to overcome that, or create something parallel, is kind of very ambitious, and that he needs trillions and trillions of dollars for that. But then, if you are a slave to the algorithms, what would be yours at the end of it? That is the kind of question that you pose. See, it's very unpredictable. We could be optimistic. That's good for our health, but we cannot be certain which way these people are going to go. We cannot say declare this is all bad. This is human evolution. It will happen. And one of the things I always get solace from when this great sage Ramana Maharshi, he was approached when something drastic happened, like Gandhi's assassination in India, and also Hitler was marching over Poland, and people were very worried the way he was going about one country after other country. So then they came
Yeah.
and asked him. Then he said, "Look, there is a creator who created this world. He will take care of it. Don't worry." That is what is happening
Yeah.
all the time.
That's exactly what's happening. Because we're going to come to the end of ourselves, or the end of this AI and social media. Folks are talking about AI today like they spoke about social media 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, how it's going to change everything, it's going to get out of hand, how it's going to be so great because you'll be able to have those connected and passionate and compassionate relationships with folks all over the world.
Not only
And
that, they
we
are
see how that's worked out, right? For the most part. So it's not.
For the industry, agriculture part, they improved the productivity like anything.
Yeah.
Because the ordinary farmers who don't know anything English and all that, they can know what is the weather directly on their phone, and then also recommendation what they should do, what kind of insecticides and all that. And that has become a boon for these remote corners of people. Facebook, remote corners of people, it's helping. There were so many people when it went out of service one time, many people's business suffered. So that is there. So you can always take a pen and write it, or you can put it in somebody's face and hurt them. That is there. Yeah.
So all these things, again, just to come full circle, all these things are good in and of themselves.
Now, what about this oneness we are talking about today? What is the answer? Your answer to that question? Do you feel the oneness? Do you live in that oneness?
I absolutely do. I'm smiling as I say that because I do. I absolutely do.
Tell me about it. Tell me how you experienced that.
Well, the first time I experienced it, if I could talk about that, it was, I was, I had the trouble with prescription pain medication. I ended up in prison and in a cell, which I now call the closet of God for me. And two books were handed to me, Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda and The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Through reading those books, I learned to quiet my mind.
Have you seen that movie Awake on Paramahansa Yogananda? Awake.
What is the book?
No, movie Awake. It's a documentary.
No, I have not.
I think you should see that, Peter. Awake. And I saw it in the theater because they celebrated with a lot of fanfare and all that. So I was invited, and so I went there. And later on, it came on I don't know if this is YouTube or Netflix or what, but that is a good movie to see for you.
Right. So that's when I started. That's when my practice started. That's how I learned how to quiet my mind.
What was your take on the autobiography of a yogi?
It was all new to me. It was, I didn't know, I knew nothing about Kriya. I knew very little about yoga and Kriya yoga, but I just, my take as I remember it was just learning that there's a different way to live. There's a different consciousness. And I just enjoyed how he told the story of his life, which ultimately brought him to the States. And I believe they have a very powerful following throughout the world, but I think that their HQ is still to this day somewhere in California. But it was a book that I should really go back and read, because what it did, it was just open my eyes. You were asking me to the oneness.
You were asking me to conduct a room on yoga one time. What happened with that plan? Do you want to do it, or we can talk about that kind of things?
To do about what? I'm sorry?
You were asking me to do a yoga room one time.
Yes. Yeah.
So then
we can do that. We can do that. Let's set. How about tomorrow's Friday? Do you want to do it tomorrow evening?
Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
I'll DM you.
Yeah. Let's arrange the time by looking at our schedules. Tomorrow evening should be okay, Peter.
Okay. That's not Saturday. Saturday I'm on as well too. Yeah. But I would really love to do that.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you about, it's
See,
something I can Google.
why I wanted to do is there's a lot of misunderstanding about that yoga practices and all that, and people are
Yeah,
not really getting out of what they could otherwise if they're aware of what it is. See, this
yeah,
prejudice about Eastern thing, Hindu thing, that's not there with us because we are all citizens, and I'm not practicing Hindu in that sense, you know. But I take wisdom from everything. I don't identify myself with anything. But this yoga is a lifestyle that can help with these chronic diseases and wellness and all that in several levels. Okay, I may go to the
hmm,
extreme level, but doesn't have to be everybody has to go all that. So your interest is up to you. Some may go deeper than me. I don't know. But the basic thing is, how can I help wellness through the ancient wisdom? That's my thing. By combining the modern science and the ancient wisdom, I was successful with myself, at least. And then I
yeah,
was successful with a lot of my patients. That's all I wanted to do. But then there are so many esoteric, so many things that people may not really have the uh, kind of wavelength to really get into that. You know, that's okay because everybody has to go on their own journey. That's all right. I don't judge anybody on that. But the thing is, what is misinterpreted, something that's very useful, that pains me. Then I say, if only the people know about this, then they will do it much better. Okay, I took some people like one girl. She was very fat, you know, but she grew up with us in our neighborhood when she was very little. So me and her became very friends because she was bullied in the class. Her father is a psychiatrist, but he didn't know what to do. Then I took her
yeah,
under my wing because she's only very little at the time, maybe 13 or something like that. And then I,
right,
I bred her. But now she does a lot of yoga exercises, but with that balance within her. You know, that is also very valuable. Then you can do a lot of yoga for physical, mental, and spiritual health. But also you will take a leap into consciousness of approaching the life.
yeah,
See what I mean? So, like for example, the Swami Yogananda, he established a foundation and all that, like self-realization foundation and all that. And he had
right,
enormous castle like palace like things and all that. But the friend he took under, and then they had differences, and they were sued at the end of life. So you know about that too. So
yeah,
he kind. How did he approach? Why did he approach? Does he have a mind that is strong, or was he beyond mind to have the stability, to have the resilience to handle? That is what modern Americans have to understand. They leave that alone, and they breed the ego, and then they identify with that, and they keep the mind stable maybe, but they keep the body health, but that doesn't hold much. So that's why they still have to take the medications. They still have to do all these things,
yeah,
But if you
yeah,
understand what is that resilience beyond the mind, then your
hmm,
mind will behave much better. Your addictions will go down. So we will talk about such kind of useful things for people so that we feel like what we are practicing, we are relating to other people, and other people will be helped or take advantage of it. I don't
this is
want
great.
to.
I'm excited about it. Well, okay, yeah, because I have some questions already. I have a list for you,
No, no, you
Dr.
bring
Al, but
any questions.
I'll
If
go ahead.
any
No,
questions,
what I'll go ahead and do, so I
yeah,
think it'll be useful
yeah,
for for everyone to hear, because what how I like to approach it is my first question is going to be, what is yoga, and then it's
my
just going to
canvas,
build.
my canvas is pretty vast, but doesn't mean everybody has to be all the canvas. You can be one
Yeah,
corner and also
yeah,
examine things and go on their own. Some people may progress much better than us. Who knows? So it is a question
yeah,
of bringing up our awareness of the intricacies of yoga so that
right.
it will touch some lives and then they can live better.
And yeah, that's what it is really for me. And people will say to me, "Man, you got through. One of the ways you started your recovery was through meditation, mindfulness, and like tell me more about that." And I really can't speak all that intelligently about it, but I know that works, and I can speak to people on a very basic level.
See,
By just telling
that's
my
a
story.
fundamental thing. Like a meditation is not a practice. Meditation is a state you arrive by doing some practices. You see,
Beautiful.
that's where I am always in the meditative awareness because I don't have to practice. You arrive at the state, everybody can. It's not that we are special or anything. Everybody can. But then what they do with what they have accumulated that is preventing them to get to the state is up to them. You cannot force it. You cannot force it. I cannot say you are doing something wrong and do that. No. They have to grow in their own way.
So meditation is not a practice. How about yoga? When they say I'm in yoga practice, I know they use that term a lot.
Yoga, by definition, is about union. Union at the highest level is your individual consciousness really realizing that you are not individual, you are part of that universal consciousness. Then you are unionized with that. But if you come to the bottom thing, where you are as a human being, you are not just the body, just the mind, just the spirit, but a union of all of that. So what they did was they did for the body there is yoga, for the mind there is yoga. Actually, yoga is really for the mind, and in the part of that is keep your body as a temple so that you can understand the mind structure, understand why it can go out and all. See, you have to really understand your senses and the mind, and then yoga trains you how to use them properly, not to be victim of them. You see? Yeah. So I kind of really enjoy the benefits of that all the time. So whether somebody agrees or not, I am quiet most of the time. I'm silent. I'm joyful, and I am in bliss. What do you need?
Listen, I am too, but I wouldn't say most of the time. I would say some of the time to half of the time. But I'm working on it. I am practicing.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine, Peter. What I'm saying is, once you touch that state, you don't have to do anything. It will continue.
Yeah. I get glimpses of it, and I've shared this with. I get glimpses of it.
Some people take lifetimes, so don't be in a hurry. These are most really positive view is everybody eventually going to be self-realized in that state, but it all depends upon how you are going about it, how you take it up, and all that. And also there is so much misinformation about this. So much folklore, so much misleading things and all that. If somebody,
this will be good. This will be good that we talk, and I think
that 1 hour won't be sufficient though, but we will start.
Well, I'm sorry.
That 1 hour is not going to be sufficient to the depth you want to go, and I want to go. But we will start. We will start. See where it goes.
Great. Doctor, thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me hop on today. And I'm always learning from you, and I admire you. I really do, and I love you as a child of this universe. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I will see you in the DMs. Okay.
Namaste.
Namaste. Bye bye. So that was Peter, and it's a fascinating story. Peter's, from addiction to recovery, and then using his life experiences to help other people. That's the factor I like the most, and also the openness to learn, and really, putting his mind in that openness frame, which really helps a lot. I will be happy to really explore together. And it's not that I know everything, I'm going to teach you, but no, we're going to present our viewpoint of how our fellow human beings' life may be helped by this understanding, and then they can start wherever they are, and they may not even want to like it. That's fine too. But we're going to make a sincere effort about putting my perspective as a physician, as a yogi, as a personal health point of view, how it has really contributed to my life, and how I'm trying to relate this along with the modern science, the ancient wisdom. Yoga is not the only thing I do. My highest thing is Advaita Vedanta. That means uh, non-duality philosophy. That's the one am kind of really into. And yoga is only a really mere simple part of it. So it's not like that is everything either. Okay, but all yoga ultimately is about lifestyles. Ultimately, is about having a lifespan. That means very well joyful life extension. It's not about just living few years. It is about quality of life that is long lasting, and at the same time you are enjoying the life and contributing. Not that you are enjoying means you are enjoying all the vices, all the modern life weaknesses. That's not it. It's enjoyment of being here, part of the nature, part of all the people, and then helping them to relate with you in a very beautiful way. Okay, so you don't feel lonely and you feel really forever fulfilled. You feel joyous even in ordinary conditions. And then when trouble comes, when the things out of whack, you have that capacity to take insight. Don't say only my way is the correct way and then nothing else. That doesn't matter. How your subjective living inside you, outside you, will take a dramatic shift if you understand modern science, if you understand ancient wisdom, and have the wisdom to use what is good in both of them. Okay, not according to your personal standard, but universal standards. Okay, so we will try to explain our life experiences. Peter will explain his life experience. I will explain mine. Out of that, maybe something useful will come for our friends here. Okay. Thank you, and I will see you whenever I can. Bye bye.